Something surprising is happening around Benny Blanco, and the internet is running wild with speculation. A wave of viral clips has fans asking whether Benny has openly talked about being attracted to men, and whether this means something deeper about who he is and what this means for his relationship with Selena Gomez. Today, we're breaking down the story from top to bottom, clearing up the misinformation, and digging into why this conversation has exploded in such a massive way. And trust me, you're going to want to stay until the end because there's a twist in this narrative that most people have completely overlooked. Before we get into the details, welcome back to Celeb Juices. I'm your daily pop culture best friend spilling the tea 7 days a week. If you love celebrity breakdowns, Hollywood chaos, and the truth behind the headlines, you've definitely found your new messy bestie. So settle in, grab a drink, and get ready because this Benny Blanco situation is turning into something nobody expected. The reason this story took off is because several old interview clips resurfaced showing Benny Blanco joking around with male friends in ways some viewers interpreted as flirty or playful. A lot of these clips were comedic, lighthearted, or intentionally exaggerated for humor, but the internet loves a mystery, and suddenly people started claiming these moments were proof that Benny Blanco likes men or has openly dated men. The issue is that a lot of these comments were based on misunderstandings, assumptions, and even misidentified clips. One heavily circulated video showed Benny joking with Lil Dicky, but some viewers thought that was Benny's ex. That misinformation spread like wildfire, and suddenly the conversation snowballed into claims that Benny's entire identity, or even his relationship with Selena, should be questioned. What made it more intense is that viewers were framing the topic in ways that came across as biphobic or dismissive of bisexuality, which is its own problem. But before we go further, let me ask you this. Do you think the internet jumps too quickly to conclusions about celebrities, especially when it comes to sexuality? And second, do you think a celebrity's past jokes or humor should be used as evidence for anything about their identity? Comment below because I want to know what side you're on. Now here is where things get interesting. Fans who have followed Benny Blanco for years already know he has a very dark, outrageous, comedic style. He exaggerates. He pushes boundaries. He uses humor to shock people. That is part of his personality and part of why he works so well in entertainment. The resurfaced clips were not confessions. They were jokes with friends, often on podcasts known for going way over the top for entertainment value. This is also why some fans are reminding everyone that humor does not equal identity. And honestly, it's strange that in 2025 we still see people assuming that playful joking with male friends automatically means something about someone's sexuality. Benny himself has talked about being comfortable with affection and physical closeness with male friends, something a lot of people experience regardless of orientation. There are straight guys who joke around with their friends like that. There are gay guys who don't. There are bisexual guys who do or don't. There is no universal rule for how someone expresses their humor or their comfort. But this conversation didn't stay focused on humor for long, because fans quickly turned the discussion toward Selena Gomez and her relationship with Benny. And this is where the speculation shifted from, is Benny bisexual? To, would Selena care if he was? And, does this mean something about their relationship? That's when things got messy, because people began acting like bisexuality is an obstacle to loving a partner or being committed to a relationship, which is simply not true. What makes things more confusing is that Benny Blanco has been extremely open about how deeply he cares for Selena Gomez. He has called her the sweetest person he has ever met, someone he never imagined he would be with, someone he considers the biggest blessing in his life. He has talked about her talent, her strength, her character, and how grateful he is to be with someone like her. He has expressed this over and over again in interviews, and fans actually consider his devotion one of the things that makes him a boyfriend. So the idea that any jokes he made before they were dating somehow invalidate his love for her doesn't make sense. But the internet loves drama, and once a narrative takes off, it's hard to stop it. At this point, everyone is dissecting every interview, every joke, every moment of affection between Benny and male friends. Commenters are saying things like, "This means he can't truly love Selena," or, "This proves he's hiding something," which is not just unfair but also rooted in a misunderstanding of sexuality. People can be bisexual and be deeply in love with their partner. People can be comfortable with affection and still be straight. People can joke around and not mean anything serious. But the viral nature of this topic shows how quickly people want to assign labels to celebrities they don't know personally. I recently had my own conversation about this exact topic at a birthday party with friends. We were talking about the idea that some of the most aggressively homophobic men in high school turned out to be gay or bisexual later in life. A friend there said something that stuck with me: secure men aren't afraid of showing affection or friendliness with their male friends. They don't see kindness, hugs, compliments, or closeness as a threat to their identity. They know who they are, and they don't need to perform masculinity for anyone. And that actually made me think again about Benny Blanco. He seems like someone who is comfortable with who he is, comfortable enough to joke around, to laugh, to play, to not worry about how people interpret him. That confidence is part of why Selena Gomez likes him. She has said she loves men who don't feel the need to pretend, who are emotionally open, who are secure enough to express affection. So maybe instead of asking whether Benny Blanco likes men, the better question is, why is the internet uncomfortable with a man being emotional and affectionate? Still, in the middle of this discussion, I want to ask you, would it matter to you if your partner was bisexual? Would that change anything for you, or would open communication make that completely fine? Comment below, because these conversations are important, and your perspective could help someone else understand their own feelings. Now, here's where we need to clear up the biggest misconception. A lot of the clips going viral were taken long before Benny and Selena ever dated. This wasn't something he was saying while he was in a committed relationship. These were old interviews, old jokes, old podcast moments. People are applying them to his current relationship, which doesn't make sense. Also, Benny has always been someone with unfiltered humor. If you watch any of his older interviews or listen to his friends talk about him, they all say the same thing: he goes for shock value. He exaggerates everything. He loves to make people react. So when he says something outrageous, it's often not meant to be taken seriously. That's his comedic brand. But once those clips hit TikTok without context, people start turning them into evidence rather than performance. And let's talk about the reality of celebrity relationships. Nothing comes out of the mouths of major celebrities without some level of planning, especially during promo seasons. Even their jokes are often approved or at least discussed beforehand. If Benny or Selena had anything significant to reveal, believe me, it would not be through a chaotic old podcast clip. Their teams are too strategic for that. So when fans claim that these moments are clues or hidden confessions, they're missing the reality of how curated celebrity media is. But that won't stop TikTok from spinning narratives, especially when Selena Gomez is involved. Everything related to her gets amplified by a factor of 10. Now, before we wrap up, there's something else going on in the background of this conversation that most people haven't noticed yet, a detail that might completely shift how you see this situation. And I'm going to reveal that in a moment, but first let's talk about one more element of this viral discussion: the fear that if someone is attracted to more than one gender, that somehow means they can't commit. This fear shows up in celebrity gossip all the time. We saw it with Sex and the City. We see it with reality shows. We see it in comment sections constantly. But the truth is, commitment has nothing to do with sexuality. It has to do with communication and trust. I've dated someone who was bisexual before, and the only confusing part was the lack of communication. If there is communication, trust, and honesty, being bisexual does not make a relationship any less meaningful or any less real. And I think that perspective matters a lot in this conversation. Now, here's the twist. The thing almost nobody is talking about. While fans have been dissecting Benny's jokes and humor, they've completely overlooked how openly and confidently he talks about Selena Gomez. The clips of him praising her, admiring her, cherishing her, being excited to go home to her, missing her when he's away, those clips get ignored because they don't fuel drama. But they reveal who he actually is today. They show a man who is genuinely in love, genuinely grateful, and genuinely invested in the relationship he's in. So is Benny Blanco secretly revealing something in these old clips? Or is the internet just desperate to find a scandal where there isn't one? And most importantly, why are people more interested in the drama than in the actual truth? As we close out this video, I want to leave you with a final dramatic teaser, because you are not going to want to miss what comes next. There is another celebrity situation brewing right now, one connected to Selena Gomez, one that the internet has barely started noticing, and it has the potential to be the next massive viral story. I am breaking that down in my next Celeb Juices video, and trust me, you're going to want to watch it immediately. So make sure you are subscribed, turn on notifications, hype this video in the comments, and keep the conversation going. I'll see you in the next one, best friend.